Welcome to Inside Alicyn's Wonderland, the show that takes you down the rabbit hole into the wild and wonderful world of animation and video games. Thank you so much to everyone that's joining live. Swirly Imagination Studios. I'm going to do it your video after this, I promise. Hey, Alicyn Packard fan. What's up, Nika? So glad you can join live. Jeffrey Curry Tyler. Let's see, we have Rocky Road, Miss Magical Adventures. Thank you guys so much for joining live. It's always so much fun to have people here and down for the actual show as it's happening in real time. So thank you for that. Tonight's guest, as I'm sure you've already heard, is the one and only Kaitlyn Robrock. Kaitlyn is a voice actress. She's best known as the voice of Minnie Mouse for shows like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and other things in the works as well. She's also the voice of Felicia on Amphibia, as well as the title role in Mr. Pickles, the very adult animated series. And I have known Kaitlyn personally for, probably a decade. We both cut our teeth together taking voice acting classes and working on our characters. So it is a huge honor to have her on the show, and I'm so proud of the work that she's doing and so proud of everything she's accomplished in her life. So it's going to be a really good time. So thank you guys for joining in. Please welcome Kaitlyn Robrock. And this is the Cranberries, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Hey, girl!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Halfway there.
We're halfway there. I heard you were cat sitting.
I'm kitty sitting. Kitty's
Are we going to have any surprise fun guests?
I hope so, because he's the sweetest little nugget. And he likes to play chase me. So right now he's hiding, hoping I'll chase him. But if I don't, then he'll kind of come over and like, why won't you chase me? But then he'll like get right up and snuggle right next to me. And it took me a while to like convince him I'm a snuggly person, but he does it every night now. So it's like,
is he a tabby?
He is. He's orange and white. His name is Jamie, and his adopted sister kitty is Circe. But she doesn't like anybody, so she's hiding somewhere up there. She's alive. Her food portion is depleting. I'm hearing the kitty litter box, so she's fine. She just doesn't like people. But
I feel like
Jamie will come play.
I feel like you'd be the best cat sitter ever.
I am. I think I am. I love cats.
Yeah,
but today's actually the last day.
You're relieved from your duties. Do you have any pets of your own? Probably not.
Not yet, but I do. I want my own cat for sure.
It's like you don't want to abandon your cats to be like, hey, I'm going to be pet sitting these other guys, so bye.
Yeah, if I come home and I smell like another cat, I'm sorry I cheated on you.
That's so funny. Aw, how is your day going? Was it busy?
It was a busy day. I just came back from a cruise the other day, so I've been catching up on all the work that's accumulated over the weekend and doing laundry, coming back up for these guys. And so half of my brain is still on the ship.
Wow. What
but
kind
of course,
was it?
It was a Disney cruise, of course. But I'd never been on one before, and I convinced my parents to go. And by the end of the trip, they're like, okay, let's put down a deposit for next year. We want to do the Alaskan cruise. And it was such a trial to convince them at first of like, let's just do a little 4-day, 3-night, a little mini one. It leaves from San Diego. That's where they live. It'll be fun. The price tag is good. And they had such a blast. And I don't think I'll ever go on a cruise again unless it's a Disney cruise, because they really know how to treat you there.
Tell us more about that.
The staterooms right off the bat, because I did a cruise about 2.5 years ago on Princess, and that was with Bob Bergen, because he cruises a lot as well. So he had a voiceover cruise a couple years ago that I did. Super fun. Bob is one of the best. And it was not a bad cruise at all. And it was a week-long cruise, and it was a rough one because we were outrunning 2 storms. So the ship was really like heaving and hoeing, and like a couple of my other friends who took the class with me, like they got so seasick, and like they had to stay in their rooms for a good chunk of it. I felt so bad for them. But
man.
This one, like the staterooms alone for the Disney cruise, you have a curtained off area with an actual queen bed, like an actual bed there. Instead of rare? Like, I thought it was rare, like, because usually you'll have like a bunk bed situation, 2 twins, or 4 2 bunks, so 4 beds, and they're all twins. But this one had like an actual queen bed in the back. And then the couch turned into a bed, and then there was a little pull down bed. So that was pretty typical. But like the queen bed alone, like that's a real person's bed. That's not like I'm back in high school in my parents' house and you have the twin bed. So it was luxury.
And your parents.
Yeah, but we all had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, you grew up in San Diego.
I did, yeah.
Did you start attending Comic-Con before it was cool? Before you were
technically, yes. Hey, you want to come up here?
Do we have a guest?
Come up here? Come here. Come here. Say hi.
Hi. Oh, that's a handsome cat. Hi, cutie.
Come here, cutie. Come here. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll bring him up. Come here. Come here, sweet boy. Hi. Hello. Hi. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Meow, meow.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Brrr.
So many people are watching you. Meow, 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 meow. Oh, that's right. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, hi, sweetheart.
Oh, what a sweetie. What's the cat's name?
Such a love bug. His name's Jamie. And that's why when I met them for the first time, like, this is Jamie and Cersei. Oh, from Game of Thrones? Yeah, but they're not blood related, so it's okay. And I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I know what's going on.
I've actually never seen it either, so apparently we're the two people in the entire world that haven't.
That's okay. I don't think it's the right show for me. Like every show has its audience, and it's cool if something's not your cup of tea.
Yeah. What is your cup of tea?
My cup of tea, I like short form comedy shows, like Michael Schur comedies. Mm-hmm. He worked on The Office, but correct me if I'm wrong, but he created
The Good Place.
He created The Good Place. He created Parks and Recs. He created Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love all three of those shows. And I love The Office too, but The Office definitely was like, some of those episodes are a little secondhand embarrassment, but some of them are really, really good. So you just kind of take both together. But Parks and Recs and Brooklyn Nine-Nine are very much two of my favorites. And he just started a new one, I think, called Rutherford Falls. So I haven't seen that one yet, but I'll give it a shot. It's a Michael Schur show. And of course, animated shows. Who doesn't love cartoons?
I know. I agree. I watch so much cartoons.
It's consider it homework.
Exactly.
You're legally allowed to watch it because it's homework.
So yeah, a lot of people are asking, do you feel like doing the Minnie voice for us right now?
Oh, well, I'm not exactly sure, but, well, why not? It sounds like a lot of fun to share with other people, don't you think? Oh, doesn't he look so handsome? Oh, he's so charming, too.
I love him so much.
Wow. Did you ever have the pleasure of meeting Russi Taylor before she passed away?
I did. It was like a third luck's a charm situation. Way back in, I think it was like 2009, 2010. There was bye. Off you go. No, not for you,
That's
sir.
Yeah, for you.
No, he's interested in my Hershey hugs, and those are mine. Go on. There was an industry society event. I can't even remember what it was, but she was there briefly, and we got to say kind of a hello as she was passing, and I choked up and didn't say anything. And Bob was with me. Bob was with me too, and he's like, "You got to speak up. You got to say something. You got to be proactive if you want to make it." And I'm like, "But she." And then the second time, she came to Disneyland for what's called a cast conservatory. And that was a cast conservatory. Okay. So the entertainment department, the characters and the entertainment hosts and whatnot, they would bring in outside people just to give little classes. Like Broadway companies that are on tour, they've come to visit. Some Imagineers have come to visit. Oh gosh, what's another one? Chris, that's how I met Chris Willis and his wife Elise. They came, and they're the composers of the Mickey shorts on YouTube and The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. Wow. And ironically, I had met them several months before because a mutual friend had asked for my help signing them into the park just to have a day for play. So I signed them in, and they were the nicest people. They were the nicest people. And then they were doing a class. So I was like, I want to go talk to them again. And I wanted to talk to Alicyn because she's a session singer. And what a session singer is they come in and they usually bring their groups of singers to sing on animated shows or to sing in like these cartoons, movies, the choral arrangements you hear on some movies, and just all over the place. And we were going to talk to each other. We're going to have a date to talk about it. And we both just kind of, you know, got busy. And then I got Minnie, and it's like, well, I guess we'll be working together after all. So,
Are you a singer as well?
I'm an actor who sings. I love to sing, but I wouldn't say I'm like a very strong singer. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
And even to this day, like I still take workshops, I still take clinics, I still take acting classes, singing lessons. So just always doing something to keep us on top of my game as much as I can, because it's so competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, well, now you used to work at Disney World, right? Or sorry, Disneyland.
Disneyland, yeah.
So how did you start at Disneyland? Were you always a big Disney fan?
Yeah. We would go twice a year on Thanksgiving Day, because nobody used to go there back then. And then like once around like springtime, like after Easter had ended when the crowds died down. So we would go a couple times a year. And then I went to UC Irvine for college, and all of my friends who were working at Disneyland were at that college, or like everyone I went to college with was working at Disneyland. So I thought, well, I guess I'll have to as well.
In college.
And so for a college job. And so I hired in a couple of days before Mickey's birthday, like 2003. And around that same time, Christina V was working there too. She was working over at I believe she was working at the Interventions as the Stitch character, the Talk to Stitch experience.
She was
on that. You'll have to check with her on that, but I'm positive. But that we kind of met briefly there, and then we knew each other beyond that. But I started working there, graduated from UCI, and moved to Anaheim to continue working there and work on voiceover at the same time. So I would work morning shifts, like 8 to 4:30 at Disneyland, and then I'd drive up to Burbank to do like a 7 to 10 class, and then drive back and do it all over again. And I did that for many, 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 many years.
I think that's when I met you.
Yeah.
At a voice actor workshop or something like that.
Probably Hope Levy's or Mary Lynn's for sure. Yeah.
And so what types of jobs did you have when you were at Disneyland?
It was just, I used to do the character work inside, but it didn't last for too long because my body type wasn't really right for the characters that were approved in my height range. So I took like a fall down a ramp once in Clara Cluck, which is like this big chicken from the old black and white cartoons and a couple of the colored ones. But I took a fall and I hurt my neck pretty badly. And at that point I had decided, you know what, I keep getting hurt doing this type of performance. So I think it's best if I stop doing the character work and just do entertainment hosting.
And can you tell us about that job?
That job, when you go into the park and you're right when you're walking down Main Street, say you see Pluto off on the side in front of the Lincoln Theater. So you head over to Pluto. An entertainment host is the one who would say like, hi, our line is right over here. Please have your autograph books and pens ready to go. Have your cameras ready. If you need any help, I'll be there to help you. And the line is about 7-minute wait. Or if it's almost time for Pluto to go get his dog bone, we will close the line and let them know Pluto's going to go get a treat, but he should be back in just about 35 minutes at this time. If you'd like, you're welcome to visit these characters, or like give them different offerings. So there's always something that they can do.
Got it.
So that's what I had done. And it really helped working at the park because I would hear a lot of the parade audio or the stage show audios. And that's how I started practicing Minnie, was through that.
Was she always your favorite Disney character, or were you several?
She's my favorite classic character. And I think like I have different subsects of what's my favorite. Like, my favorite princess is Cinderella. My favorite classic is Minnie. My favorite, not so much obscure, but like outside the box Disney is Jessica Rabbit. My favorite Disney movie is like the Rescuer movie. Like, so it just bops all around. I'm a big Disney file.
Yeah. And so what is the process? How did it come to be that you started doing the voice of Minnie in different shows?
When I was working at the park, one of the Christmas parades had come in, and our break area is right there, when it comes inside. And you'll hear the audio, and when you hear it enough times, you memorize the audio cues. And so the ice skating float had come in where Mickey and Minnie were ice skating, and Mickey had a line that he said, and for the life of me, I couldn't tell you, but then Minnie would go, "Mickey, watch me twirl," and she would twirl in a circle, and I knew that cue was coming, so just one day I did my best impression of Minnie and mimicked it, and my fellow co-hosts who were having lunch right there were like, "Oh, you sounded just like her. That's insane. Don't do that again. Whoa." And I thought, I sound just like her? Ooh, I should probably put that in my pocket. And so I just kind of practiced as much as I could, listening to any Disney audio I could find from theme parks, like on websites or the CDs they'll sell in the park. And I just kept practicing and practicing and practicing. And then, unfortunately, when Russi passed in 2019, that was like, well, this is it. You succeed or you fail. You better go for it. And it was the most anxious time of my life.
Really?
So I've never been so anxious to the point of like, I can never tell the difference between an anxiety attack and a panic attack. But her passing had happened, and a couple of people reached out to me to let me know. And about a week and a half later, the audition came in, and everyone was given a week to do the audition. So like my best friends came over every night, and they were like just second sets of ears while I practiced the audition that they provided for us, practiced the singing for the song. And I booked a session at Voice Tracks West so they could record the music to audio. They had like a better way. I didn't know how to do that at my setup. But we did the audition. We submitted it a week later. And then a week after that, I got the word while I was working on Frozen 2 that Disney wanted to see me for a callback the next day.
Wow.
And I'm the person who's like, well, let's see. If it's from 10 to 6 and they want to have 45-minute windows with an hour-long break for lunch in between the two studios, that means there'll be 7 girls. Like, I'm doing the math of like, how many people could it be? How many days could this be? Because it was just killing me. So I went in, did the first callback, felt really good about it, but we definitely was like really hitting the grindstone of like, what are the nuances? How does she scoop? She scoops up, she scoops down. She has a soft sound to it sometimes. There's a sweet nasality to it, like all the little fine details. And then the rest of the week, I think that was a Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was just constantly checking my phone, like emails, calls, texts, like freaking out. And then that weekend was the D23 Expo for Disney, and I had tickets to that, of course. And on Friday, by the end of the day Friday, I was like, well, it's the weekend, so you may as well enjoy your weekend, because you won't hear anything until Monday if you do. And some people I knew who were working at the expo, they said, hey, we're really surprised that they did callbacks because everyone is so focused on this expo. I don't think they would even have another callback until like next week or beyond. But they were aware it was happening, but no one had heard anything. And then the next week, I got the second callback. So you could just feel like I deflated like a balloon. Like, oh my gosh, I got the next callback. Okay, I can sleep. I can eat. I cannot freak out anymore for now. And then I went into the second callback, and it was the same as the first, just to make sure everything you did on the audition is still there. Everything that you brought to that first callback is still there. Nothing hurts. You're following direction well. You're able to adapt it for the different genres of the shows. And then they said, all right, we'll have you come to Disney Television next week. So I thought, all right, it's a third callback right out the gate. This is great. I don't have to worry. And then the following week, I get there, and it was the gig, and I didn't know that. So I walk in, and I'm sitting there reading a book, and one of the assistants came and gave me paperwork. And I'm like, I don't need to sign paperwork for an audition. Oh, no, honey, this is the session. Oh, you know what? We'll sign the paperwork after work. They're ready for you. Oh. And so I did not have time to panic or doubt or freak, but I did not have the moment of like, I got it. Like,
right.
That success moment of like, me? Wow. You chose me? It was just like, okay, go to work.
Wow, what a crazy story.
It was crazy. And I walk in and there's like 15 people there, all in suits. Like when you do a voiceover session, you've got your vocal director, you've got the note taker, you've got the engineer, and oftentimes you have the show creator. So anywhere from like 3 to 4 people. But there's 10 extra people here that I don't know who are all wearing suits, and they're all just watching, silent. And I go in the booth and get ready, and Dave from Disney TV, he pokes his head in and goes, "Hey, so excited you're here. Don't worry. Like, have a good time. I know sometimes you get nervous, but don't worry. You got this. Have fun." Because I had done the Miss Piggy I had done the Baby Piggy callback for Muppet Babies, and that was my first ever callback. So I was so nervous for that one. So he knew, like, don't be nervous. You're here for a reason. You're going to have a good time. But this was the actual gig. And so we did the gig. I just watched Kelly, who was my vocal director. We had fun with it. We played around. We kept it real casual. And then I thanked them and left the room and got in my car and drove 3 blocks and parked and called my mom screaming. And I was like, I got it, but it wasn't what it was just like, I can't even explain how it was. It was like, oh, I didn't get the moment where I thought my agent would call me and grandly announce, "They've chosen you." It was just like, oh yeah, you got it. Come on.
Hand you the crown.
Guys,
wow.
Okay, let's do it.
Wow. Virtual high five.
Virtual high five.
Through the screen.
Yes, Kelly Ward. I just realized there's all these people texting down there.
Oh yeah. Yes. People are, and I just want to, for anybody that's tuning in live, if you guys have questions for Kaitlyn, there's a question box at the bottom. So feel free to pop questions in there and we'll try to get to them right at the end.
Yeah.
Jeff said he's going in with Kelly Ward in 3 weeks. That's amazing, Jeff. I should bring, yeah, it'd be great to have Kelly on the show as well sometime. So wow, that's the long story. Now, after that first session, was there any fear or trepidation? Since, I mean, was it just sort of one show at a time, or were they just like, you are the new voice of, or how did that work?
It started out as a testing period. So there were 7 of us at the first callback, and about half of them I knew, that were people I knew. The other half I have no clue. And then for the second callback, it was me and 2 others, and I'm not sure who those 2 were either. So like those were the final 3 choices. And they decided to go with me. So it was a testing period. So I think we had to play catch up with a lot of work because we had been sick for a little while. So she wasn't able to work for some time prior to her passing. So we were doing our best to come in like about twice a week, just catching up on everything that was still needing to get done on tight deadlines. And like one of them, oh, actually, this is a fun little tidbit. One of them, like my first work session with them was like the very first Wednesday of September of 2019. And then a week and a half later, the Halloween season started at
Disney World? Disneyland?
Hello, Voices by Corey. Tell your daughter I love her.
Sorry, I just saw that. I like doing images for people. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so a week and a half later, the Halloween parties at Disneyland were starting. And there was a stage show for Mickey and Minnie. And it was too late to get me in to record for that show because the performers had rehearsed to the temporary track. The audio people had mixed it. So it was just too late to redo that audio. So Minnie in that show, Oogie Boogie Treat, or Mickey's Oogie Boogie Treat Show, it's the temp truck, which is Elise Willis, who's the wife of the composer of the shorts, and she's worked with Russi for years. So I think that's actually a really cool little tidbit. She's part of that Disney family there.
How funny. What a small world.
It was a small world. It kind of wows me how things can circle back to each other in like the perfect kismet alliance sometimes.
Sounds like it's definitely kismet that you booked that job. Everything was so leading up to it.
And my friends are very grounding, where they're like, are you prepared if they say no? And I said, I'm not prepared. This is something I've wanted for so long, and something that I'm so proud of doing and feel very sure of myself, not to be vain, but like it's something that I felt so good about doing, who else could do it? And not that no one else couldn't do it. I'm sure there's plenty of ladies who absolutely could. It just meant so much to me that I wanted to be the one that could carry on that privilege of being the character.
Yeah.
So it has been the happiest 2 years of my career so far, for sure.
Amazing. I'm sure Russi would be honored too. I mean, with your experience
I hope so.
At Disneyland and your passion, I mean, not many people are in that echelon of that degree of a Disney style, you know? So congratulations. That's so amazing.
Thank you.
Like it was
and it helps to be a fan. Like all of us who are doing our jobs, we want to be fans of our own work and fans of our friends' work.
Yeah.
That means you love it all the more.
That's
and
exactly.
Working at the park, I think, also helped in my favor because I knew about character integrity. I knew about keeping our Disney magic, keeping that brand family friendly, family oriented, and making sure our littles out there who don't know exactly what voiceover is, they still get to have that magic as it is before they're allowed to like peek behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, and I saw it at the park all the time when littles would run up to hug Mickey or Minnie or Goofy. Like that's the conduit from what they're seeing on TV to their real world.
Yeah.
So I can see it, how much it means to them, and meeting people like the older persons who are aware of it, who want to meet us. That is so important. And it's so much fun to see, like, I'm touching people, I'm reaching them.
Yeah.
The way I've been reached by all of my favorite voiceover people.
Oh, that's so amazing. We're taking my son to, he doesn't know. I was like, how am I spoiling it for? No, he's not watching this right now. We're taking a California adventure in a couple weeks. So I'm really excited.
That's where the Halloween parties are.
Hey.
And I think Avengers Campus is open now. I'm not sure what else is there. I'm sure there's plenty.
So now let's take it back even prior to any of that. You grew up in San Francisco and you were attending San Diego Comic-Con. Now it's interesting because tell us a little bit about the Drawn Together contest that landed you your first voice role in the 2010 Drawn Together movie.
Oh my gosh.
Were you attending Comic-Con as a fan or a professional? What was
fan? When did I started professional? I think like 2014, 2015. But I had discovered Comic-Con like around the year 2000. I was given a ticket for like a 1-day event, and just that 1 day wasn't enough. Like I went home and I had the biggest FOMO because my uncle was there, my cousin was there. They did that every year, but since I didn't know what it was, I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so me and some friends, we got 1-day tickets and we went, and we were all like so depressed afterwards, like we want to go back, but we can't. But once we got the bug, we were hooked. So I've been every year since, barring the pandemic. We've got our tickets for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
And we've got our tickets for next year. But I would go every year to Comic-Con, and I would go to the voiceover panels that Mark Evanier would put on, or panels for like specific TV shows where the actors would be there, like the Futurama panel. So much fun. And one year there was a Drawn Together panel for the movie they were bringing to DVD. And I believe it was 2009.
Yeah. 2009.
And I had watched that show when I was in college on TV. So we went to the panel, me and my friends, because we wanted to support Jess Harnell, who was a friend of mine, because I had met him and Rob at Comic-Con years before, and Rob's son Ash was a friend of mine. So I knew them. So we went to the panel, we enjoyed what we saw, and then at the end of the panel, they were saying, we're going to have a contest, and the winner of the contest is going to be drawn into the movie. And everyone started cheering, and then I swear I heard them say, and they're going to have a line in the movie. And I perked up, like, a line in the movie? That in theory could be something you get Taft-Hartley'd into. So I knew what a Taft-Hartley was, and just anything is a boon. Any type of work you can get is a boon. So they were picking volunteers who were just raising their hands. And my friend Diana, bless her heart, she just goes, they had picked 2 guys, and then she goes, pick a chick! And it gets everyone's attention. And I raised my hand, and all my friends were pointing at me. And then Jess sees it, and he's like, oh, we're going to have her. So, and I credit Jess with the start of my career.
Oh my gosh.
So I go up for the contest, and like, yes, Rob Paulson. And I don't know what it's going to be. Do we have to recreate a monologue? Are we going to do an impression? Like, what's it going to be? And the moderator pulls out a pair of those fuzzy handcuffs you get at a special store and goes, we're going to see how long you can be handcuffed to the creator. Okay. So
did they handcuff you all at the same time?
Yeah. So Dave was handcuffed to the first guy. The first guy was handcuffed to Dave and the second guy was handcuffed to the first guy and me. So I was on the end. And so everyone's having fun. They're all laughing. And Comic-Con ends for the night, and we get out there, and we're all just kind of standing there and like, I'd like to go home, but I don't want to lose the contest. Like, this is actually a serious thing for me.
Did anybody go to the bathroom?
They didn't let me, but I had to go when they went. Like, it was, you couldn't get away with that today. But back then I was just like, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to listen. But we all went to the bar at like a hotel across the way. And so we were all chatting and having fun and having some drinks. And then Jess sees me and he's like, you look like you want to go home. I'm like, I really do, but I need that gig. Like, who knows where it could lead, right? And so he goes like, hold on. And he asks me and the two other guys, like, I came in late, guys. This is such a great contest. What's the prize? And then the two guys who were with us were like, you're going to be drawn into the movie. It's so sick. And I don't say anything. So Rob's like, they don't know that there's a voiceover part to this prize. So he talked to Dave, who was one of the creators of the show, and said, like, let's end the contest. Let's draw all of them in. Everyone wins, because that's not hard to do. And we'll give Kaitlyn the voiceover role, because I can vouch for her. Because Jess had known me for a few years, and he knew I wanted to do voiceover, and I would follow the rules and like bring my best foot forward. Yeah. So we ended the contest. Yeah. So the contest ended. We were all drawn into the movie, and then I was brought in to do the voiceover spot. And we did Smurfette. I did a little old lady, and I did this girl in the Flintstones bar scene. And they couldn't Taft-Hartley, but it was still just such a fun experience, and I kept in touch with them. And the creators brought me in for their next show. And so I auditioned for their next show. And at the callback for the lead role, it went to Jennifer Tilly, not surprised. But somebody at that callback passed my name on to the group of Mr. Pickles and said, you should bring this girl in to audition for your show. She's auditioning for this other show that's kind of a similar Adult Swim gross out style. And Golan came later, but try her for this. So I went in for Mr. Pickles, and I read for the mom. Oh, I was excited because Adult Swim, like, you can kind of pretty much do anything you want, and they'll rein it in as best they can. So I read for the mom, and I read for the girlfriend. And right before I left, they were saying, by chance, do you do a little boy voice? We got this kid, Tommy Goodman, who owns Mr. Pickles, the demonic dog. Could you read for him? And so I read for him in my little boy voice, which is the only one I had at the time. And I ended up booking it. And so I booked the lead of a show, thanks to the Drawn Together creators, thanks to Jess Harnell. So it all were steps that led up to that. And then by having the show, I was able to get into AVO with Bill Farmer, walked me in. He's the voice of Goofy. I did my first demos with him.
He was on the show.
He was? And I met him through someone who came to Disneyland as an annual pass holder, and she knew him and just said, I'm going to introduce you to him. And I'm still friends with Lee too. We've been friends for this long as well. So Bill walked me in, he did my demo, I had a show, and I got signed on to AVO, and I've been with them ever since. And that was the start of my career, like the real start. Wow. How did you feel at that time? I was over the moon. I went to Soup Plantation and I gorged myself. I was so proud. And
sorry, that was us from Soup Plantation. R.I.P. R.I.P.
And we did Mr. Pickles for 4 seasons, and then it was Mama Named Me Sheriff. And I think the show's on hiatus right now. I know a lot of things are changing at a lot of the different studios. The pandemic kind of put some things off the shelf for now, but hopefully it'll come back. And I started booking little things, little scratch rolls here and there, little one-off characters. And then I booked Amphibia with Felicia, and that was like
Did Bill coach you on that? Did Bill coach you on that? Bill
he
Farmer?
didn't, actually. I didn't know he was on it yet.
Oh.
So Felicia, she came around like January, and my friend Lila had booked a character earlier. I remember when the initial call went out, and so they were kind of bringing in characters to fill out the town. It went over the process of a few months, and so I got Felicia, and that started booking fairly regularly, and then I was able to book Thundercats Roar.
Can we hear Felicia before we move?
Oh, yes, of course we can hear Felicia. She's the owner of the tea shop in Amphibia, and she just welcomes anyone who wants to come there, as long as you bring money. But she has a daughter who's a friend of Sprig's, and if they get married, Sprig can work for me for free. You don't have to pay your family members.
You know what's so funny? Was that line in the audition sides? I'm like flashing back on that line.
I think it was.
I think it was.
The audition, it was like 5 or 6 one-liners. And then I just improv'd on every single one. So like one of them was like, we're just so happy for Sprig to start working. I've already got a monogrammed apron for him. Oh God, I'd have to pull it up, but it was such a fun audition, such a fun show.
Aw, yeah.
And then Wes Gleason brought me in for Thundercats Roar, and I did about 9 episodes with 9 different characters for that.
Wow.
And that was so much fun. It was an ensemble record. And for those who don't know, a lot of our work these days is singular. We go in, we record all our roles for the episode, and then we might have other actors' lines lead us into reads, but we don't really record ensemble anymore, which is a big shame, I think. But we did Thundercats ensemble, and it was so much fun.
Wow. What are some of the other actors that you worked with on that?
It was Patrick Seitz, and Chris J. Alex, Max Middleman, Erica Lindbeck, and then there were others who came in frequently. Dana Snyder, who's one of my favorite people. He's just so delightful. Jim Meskimen, amazing impressionist. He does an impression of Robin Williams, and it makes me cry because it's so good. Andrew Kishino, Trevor Duvall. I think that's all of them.
Wow.
Like that's the core cast. Yeah, and Lila's been on it, and Daniel Pinnock's been on it, Amanda Miller. Yeah, it's just so much fun working with all of them. Like, so much fun.
Now, Thundercats Roar kind of received a lot of hate from the hardcore original fans.
Yeah, it helps that I never saw the original. I was too young, or my brother Michael would watch Thundercats, and I would watch My Little Pony. So to each their own.
Now, how do you deal with the negativity does that affect you at all?
No. People are entitled to their own opinions.
Yeah.
I think I only ever called out one person because I had posted something, or Wes Gleason posted something, and it was either or. One of us posted something and the other one commented, and this person came on and commented where it tagged both of us of like, this show is a disgrace. It should be thrown in the trash can. And I replied to him, you don't have to post such a negative thing on someone else's status when they're positive about it. I encourage you to write your own tweets and not jump on others. And then that person, all he wrote was sorry with a frowny face.
Sorry.
And like,
he was probably 15
he didn't say anything else, but like I called him out. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong in your opinion, how you feel about the show, but people worked on the show. A lot of people love it, and they're expressing their love. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Didn't your mama tell you that?
Didn't your mom ever tell you that? So I speak up occasionally. Most of the time I just ignore it. But it depends on what they're saying. If they're just saying something on their own opinion, on a generic, whatever. But don't come on to my status, or don't come on to someone else's tweet with negativity when it's something they clearly like.
Yeah.
It would be like your friend saying, have you seen this show? It's so great. I love this character. Yeah, it's a pretty stupid show, actually, and I don't like your character. Like, why would you do that? Why would you hurt somebody like that?
Yeah, especially
it's just pointless.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely pointless.
It's funny there. I find that a lot of the people that are really negative are sometimes a lot younger than you think.
a lot of
Teenagers
today's youth is conditioned that their opinion should be spread all over the interwebs. Keep to yourself. Stick to yourself. Do you know who I am? I don't know who I am. I've got the anesthesia. No, no. What's that thing where you don't remember anything?
Anesthesia. No.
No.
Amnesia.
Amnesia. No.
Amnesia.
Alzheimer's.
Amnesia. Or amnesia. Oh, Alzheimer's is.
Yeah.
Amnesia's like, oh, I got hit in the head.
Amnesia, you just forget. But a lot of them are young, and their lives are kind of on the internet. And I'm an old fuddy-duddy, so like I try to remind myself, post on Twitter new projects, post on Instagram. My heavens, excuse me. But using social media, like I try to do it to be active and be hip and be cool. It's just what do they call? Someone called me an elder millennial.
Luddite. A Luddite.
Is that what we are? We're Luddites?
Well, Luddite is just more somebody that just doesn't want to update. You know what I mean? As opposed to like elder millennials, like the generation.
Okay. I guess I am a Luddite. I mean, I'm going to turn 38 this year. I don't feel 38. I feel like I'm in my 20s still.
Yeah.
But I also don't have kids, and I don't have a spouse to take care of. So
hey, you do have a cat.
Live my own life.
You do have a cat to house sit.
I have a cat to house sit. Hi, Jamie. He's sleeping. Oh, he's on his back with his butt aimed at me.
I'm so glad. You know what that means.
It means he feels completely safe with me. But as far as kids go, I do want to adopt kids. I've decided.
Do you?
I do. I do not wish to carry my own child. Hopefully I meet the right person to have a family with. But in general, I definitely want kids. And in today's world, like you want to make sure you have a sturdy house, a good job, at least a consistent job. And so Minnie has been I've been very grateful for it because it affords me a stability I never had before. And so now I can really start making plans for the future. Like, let's put down roots. I paid off my car, which is a big deal. Moving up to Burbank and just like seeing where those chapters of life will take you.
So you're living in Burbank now, or you're?
I'm still in Anaheim. Because I'm living with one of my best friends, and I think he wants to propose to his girlfriend. So, like,
I thought you were going to say you for a second. I was
no. But we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and that helps them save up their money. So when they're ready to move out and like start their lives together, whenever that is, at that point, then I'll come up to Burbank. But I'm not in a rush. I've got my own room, my own bathroom. I've got a walk-in closet that my booth is in. Nice. So I'm very content with where I am.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that for me, I think as an actor, having kids just influenced things so much and opened up the world. So, but you get to see a lot of kids, I'm sure, through your work at Disney.
Yeah, I learned a lot about parenting when I worked at Disneyland by seeing how all these different families react. And like if your kid's having a meltdown, how are you going to handle it? Are you about to have a meltdown, sir? Do we all need to sit down? I don't want you to yell at your kid and make it worse for them when it's clearly a rough time for you. And we want to help people. So like, okay, if the character's leaving and it's frustrating you, is there something I can do to help out? Can I take you to another character and like, I'll walk you to the front of the line? A little extra magic there. Is there a ride that you've been trying to get on and you're having a rough time? Let's go to the cast members at that ride and ask, I'd like to make a magic moment. Could we have this family go through the secret way and go on the ride? Like, we want to help people. We want to make that happen to help their day out.
Note to self, have huge meltdown next time at Disney.
Please don't. But if you
stage huge meltdown. Bodhi, this is your chance. Throw yourself on the ground.
Well, and I've had guests. I mean,
that's so sweet. That's so
those
sweet.
Guests of like, we have waited all day to see this character. My daughter's crying. And I'll look at the daughter and they're just standing there, not crying at all. Or I'll tell the guests like, hello, Donald is heading in at the moment, but he'll be back to us in just about 15 minutes if you want to hang out in this area. So you're just going to take him away? Tell her that. Okay. And they'll get down, kind of hunch down and, hi, sweetie, Donald's going to go get a little bit of a cheese sandwich or make up some excuse like Donald's going to go here, but he's going to come back in 15 minutes and your dad knows exactly what time that is. Can we see you then to play with Donald? Yeah. Great. She seems fine, sir. Have a nice day. And then I walk away.
Bye.
So like it's really
Bye,
not
Felicia.
it's never as awful, or it's never as the end of the world as some guests might feel. And if it's a character you really love, you'll wait the time you need to wait.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, there's been times I've brought kids, like my friends' kids, to the park, or brought family to the park, and they wanted to meet like Baymax, or Nikki's favorite princess was Rapunzel, and her line's closed and she'll be back like an hour later. So I'll wait there. I'll wait there as a placeholder, and like go take Nikki on a ride, go get her a snack. I'll wait here because it's obviously very important to her. So we're gonna wait for her. And like for a little one, don't make the little one wait. But like,
yeah,
I'm willing to wait that. And then when Rapunzel and Flynn Rider came out, she was the very first one to see them. And it also helped that I worked there because they knew it and they gave like that little extra pinch of time to her. But it meant a lot. So it's just kind of part of that give and take.
Yeah. I heard a really great story I hope you could share with us about Nicolas Cage crashing the Mr. Pickles ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tell us about that.
Yes. Nicolas Cage. I love him so much. I just love watching his movies. If you haven't seen Wally's Wonderland, watch it.
Okay.
It is.
I'll write that down.
People say it's very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's, which I'm not sure about what exactly that is. But Nicolas Cage is the Drifter. That's his character's name. He and his car, for some reason, all of his tires go flat. So he pulls into this little tiny town to their mechanic, who's like, well, we can fix your car, but it won't be ready till tomorrow. We don't take check or credit card. You have to pay in cash. Oh, sorry, the ATM's broken. You know what? How about this? If you can just kind of stay overnight at this family pizza establishment, help kind of clean the place up, we'll call it square, and you'll have your car back tomorrow. And then you find out this town has been doing that for a while, catching, like, there was a spike strip that popped his tires. So they've been doing this for a while where they're luring people in and telling them we can fix it, but they're not giving them any way to pay, and then have them clean the restaurant. And the animatronic characters like Chuck E. Cheese come to life and eat them. And so then Nick Cage's character gets trapped in there. And it's like Rorschach. I'm not trapped in there.
Is this a horror movie or a comedy? Or?
It's a horror-comedy. It's a horror comedy movie. So when I say it's gory, but it's not blood, it's oil, because they're animatronics. But like he's not trapped in there with them; they're trapped in there with him. Oh. And so he sets about cleaning up the place. The animatronics each try to come after him, and he systematically takes them out. Takes his 15-minute breaks when he's supposed to, and just keeps cleaning up the restaurant. It's just so much fun. Wow. And there's a making of on YouTube that's really interesting too. Huh. But it's a blast. We had a lot of fun watching it. I think it's on Amazon Prime. And if it's like, $2.99 to rent, it's worth it. That is an absolutely worth it price to watch this movie. And Nicolas Cage doesn't say a single word in the whole movie. He's the strong silent type. Huh. And ladies like that. And when I say ladies like that, I mean me. So But we had a wrap party for one of the seasons of Mr. Pickles at this bar in downtown LA. And me and my friend Erica went, and she knew a lot of the people there because she's an animator. And so like a lot of her circles of animated people were on the show. So we're all there enjoying it. And I guess it's a bar that Nick frequents a lot. But when he comes to the bar, he wears like a fat suit and a fake beard and a wig and a hat. And he wasn't allowed into the bar because he didn't have the wristband. And the creators of the show were like, wait, they knew it was him. They had heard about this. And so they invited him in to come crash our party, come in and hang out. And everyone kind of knew it was him, but no one was bugging him. And he's at the bar and he's talking to this young lady. And maybe about 20 minutes later, like, he's gone and we don't see him anymore. And the girl's gone too. And then this guy comes up to the table and goes, hey, have you guys seen girl's name? I can't find her. And then someone at the table, Nicolas Cage and her left like 20 minutes ago, hand in hand. I don't think she's coming back, dude. And we all know what's going to happen. And he's just like, what? I'm sorry. I think I think this is her I think this is her free card, you know, like the one-off, like.
This is her boyfriend?
That was, it wasn't, because this was their first date. And she left him to go have fun with Nick Cage. And the guy, he was more upset that he didn't ever ride home.
Yeah.
Than getting dumped on the first date for Nicolas Cage. And so someone else was like, oh, I'll take you home. But I just laughed so hard.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Props to him. He buys haunted homes. He bought a haunted mansion in New Orleans. And he also bought like an apartment complex, or at least an apartment across the street, so he can just watch the house.
How bizarre.
He's the most unique person. So
wow.
He's one of those people, like, I like you no matter how weird you are. You're not problematic. You're just weird.
Yeah. Wow, that is a crazy story.
It's so much. It's so funny.
Maybe Nick Cage is going to help you raise your babies.
I don't know. He seems like you can babysit for like an hour, but I don't know if they should be exposed to you longer than that. That's neither here nor there.
Well, I want to go. Are you okay taking a couple questions from the audience?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, throw them in there.
So much chat. I've missed so much of this chat. Should I scroll up to the top?
No, there's a question box at the end, so I'll bring them up.
Oh, okay.
Can you do the voice of one of the members of the Goon? Oh, I thought they were asking if you were in Space Jam, the TV series. That we don't need you to have you. Okay, Voices by Corey's wondering, do you do any coaching?
I have not started coaching yet. It's one of those things where I don't want to mislead anybody or give them the wrong advice of what's best for them versus what works for me. Mm-hmm. And I still go to coaching because I question my own auditions all the time. And like, it's very competitive. That's just kind of how it is. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we don't often get feedback from our auditions. So is it something that we could have changed that could have booked it? Is it just an oral thing that your voice sounds the way your voice sounds? Is it someone where the audition was a courtesy and they already had someone in mind? Mm. Is it they have to do this audition, but it's going to go to celebrity? There's so many factors. So I just want to make sure that if I coach, I want to make sure that they're learning the acting perspective, they're learning the mindset perspective, and not just repeating what I would do, because it may not serve them well. Yeah. So I'm not going to say, no, I'll never coach. I just think I would really need to sit down and think long and hard. How will I be a good coach for others? But I can recommend Mick Winger, because he's been my coach for almost 10 years. And I haven't coached in a little bit just because the pandemic's been a little rough. And I work better in person with coaching instead of Zoom coaching. But I can't recommend him enough. Bill Farmer does coaching. Yeah. I believe Richard Horvitz does coaching. Bob does coaching, but it's pricey. Yeah, pretty pricey.
Daniel
I'm still out of the loop. Debbie Derryberry. Yes, Debbie is delightful. She does coaching. I think Daniel Ross has done some coaching. Yeah. There is a plethora of coaches out there that I absolutely support 100%.
A plethora.
Word of the day.
Word of the day. Okay, so
hi, Jenny.
Carrie's there was a few questions for that. Have you had the chance to meet the entire Disney gang yet? And if so, who's made you laugh the most?
I met Bill many years ago.
Yeah. You go way back.
And I met, I actually forgot to finish that story. I had met Russi. She did the cast conservatory for Disneyland employers, and I was like kind of crying at the end. So I had a nice picture with her where I'm like red face and teary eyed. And then I met her a third time at June Foray's memorial. Katie Lee introduced us, and I didn't mention that I had met her before, because it was like, I'm a different person now. I'm kind of meeting her as a fan, an aspiring voice actress. I worked at Disneyland and I want to thank her. So it was a much more meaningful meeting that third time. Okay. She was absolutely a sweetheart. So sweet. Every story is true. She's like one of the nicest people and the sweetest people. Mm-hmm. Knew Bill. I have not met Tony Anselmo, but I've met Daniel Ross, who was the voice of Donald Duck for Mickey and the Roadster Racers and Mixed Up Adventures. I met Tress MacNeille in passing before the pandemic. Like she was leaving and I was coming in. Mm-hmm. And it was very brief. So I hope I can meet her again more properly. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. And I've known Brett actually for several years. He's the voice of Mickey Mouse. So I knew him before I really even started voiceover because I'd met him through Bill.
Oh, wow. And what an interesting story about the original Minnie and Mickey and being married.
I know, right? Isn't that the cutest thing?
Yeah. Would you like
they were so perfect. Well, they were both in marriages that weren't working out when they first met. And I think it was on Totally Minnie, which was Russi's first project. And that's the first thing I ever saw as Minnie.
Oh, right.
So on my to-do list is to recreate that little 80s outfit she wears for Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, with the yellow bandana and the little pink capri shorts.
Yeah, pictures.
And then my friend Victor, we're going to get him a pink suit like Elton John. Nice. So we're going to go as Minnie and Elton John from Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Nice.
But yeah, and then a couple of years later, they kind of re-met when they established Disney character voices as a department. Mm-hmm. And at that time, they had both left their spouses, and they were in the right place at the right time, and it just clicked. And they started dating, and then they got married, and they were together until Wayne's passing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the sweetest story. And they would record together, and when Minnie has the little O exclamation, it's called the Christmas goose. It's like it's as if someone has goosed you. So like
what you did there.
Like, here, Minnie, here's a cupcake. Oh, so that's the goose. So someone's goosed you. Oh, I'm excited for a cupcake. You know. So I always just tell myself, if you're excited, you've been goosed.
So yeah, I guess that covers all the basics because Pluto is also Bill.
Yes, Pluto's Bill. Oh gosh, there's so many. Oh, I've met Jim Cummings, who was Pete, the classic villain. I met him a few years ago at a convention where I was his assistant. The assistant that was assigned to him to help with autographs and money, they were sick. And I had gone as an extra volunteer. So they assigned me to him. So that's how we met.
Wow.
And gosh, he does so many. April Winchell, I'd love to meet her. She's Clarabelle Cow. I've met Nika Futterman, delightful lady. She's Cuckoo Loca. Cuckoo Loca. Jeff Bennett is Mortimer, but I haven't met him yet. They're just kind of like all spread out. But those core characters, I've met most of them, yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. I have not met Chris Diamantopoulos. I have not met him yet.
Who does Chris play?
Chris is the voice of Mickey on the YouTube shorts and the Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
And I think he lives in New York. He's a Broadway actor and a TV film actor. Oh, but I saw him in Waitress several years ago and didn't realize it. It's like small world, just how all these things.
That's range.
Yeah, he played the guy she has the affair with. And I guess that character is supposed to be like you're not really supportive of him because he's not the best guy. But Chris has done so many good guys in his career that I've seen to that point. So I was like, why are you doing this? Why am I so angry at you? Oh, I'm supposed to be. You're supposed to be kind of a jerk.
Sorsha was wondering, what is a big challenge for you as a voice actor and how did you overcome it?
I think the two biggest ones are if the weather changes or if there's a session that can be so stressful, it affects your voice. About those elements. I did a session last week where we had to do very intense character voices or alien voices. And I was given advice after the fact on how to maintain that for future sessions of this project. But I was so hoarse that night. And this was a Monday. I was hoarse all the way until Thursday night when I finally felt normal enough. But all the auditions that week that were due, it was tricky. It didn't hurt to swallow. I wasn't in any pain, but it was definitely hoarse. So I tried to do the auditions as best I could. And then each day, if I felt a little better, I'd redo the ones that I had done before the deadline. And then weather change, that's the hardest because you can't stop that. If it gets too hot or too cold or too dry, you may have the cracks or you may have the phlegm or just the stuffy nasality. And sometimes you just kind of got to go with it. Mm-hmm. So those are the hardest ones for that. And then the other one is not every actor can do every archetype or genre. And like in theory you could, because if you yourself were in that situation, how would you react? That's the most organic audition you can do, is what if you yourself were in this situation and you were this archetype? How would you do it? That way it's believable. But some things may not be what society or what the average audience wants to see in their archetype. I really cannot do a lot of those hard military women in a lot of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, those more intense characters. Lindsay Rousseau can do it. She was in the military or the army. I'm so sorry, I can't remember specifically her branch, but she can do those characters really well because she's got literal experience. Yeah. And Lila Berzins can do a lot of that stuff because she's got that beautiful alto voice that commands that authority. And so when I would try to do those, it seems pretty forced sometimes. But I can do the best version I could. Maybe it's a wild card army. Thank you, Jeff. Maybe it's a wild card archetype. If there's strong acting there or strong point of view choices, my agent will submit me as a wild card, but like maybe not the top 5 authentics. But like what she's bringing to this character is unique. I'm going to put it as a wild card because you never know. And some children's voices, if you pick a voice, you got to make sure you can maintain it and carry it through. And if there's some voices that are rough, but you know it's a very small character or just a few lines, do the crazy voice, do the options. But if you've got a character that's recurring and has long lines in the episode, make sure you're picking a voice that sits comfortably. And I think just making sure my kids and my teens are believable compared to a lot of the ladies out there who naturally have young sounding voices. Like Jeff said to Chico, she's got that wonderful young voice. Ryan Bartley. They just naturally sound like they're forever 20. Debbie Derryberry. So they've already got the natural handle on that age sound. It's all in the acting after that. So I try to make sure my acting's as strong as it can be and then pitch my voice as best I can without sounding forced. And there's plenty of shows out there where teenagers who sound like they're 20, but they're acting like teens. You're still believing they're teens. The acting's there, even if they do have deeper voices. Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of 15-year-olds have already come into their voice, but there's something about the energy of a teen. So yeah, it's not necessarily just the pitch, because there's teens with all different kinds of pitch, but the older you get, the more your voice kind of sits down and kind of. Yeah. And look, I read for moms. I'm not a mom yet. So sometimes the moms can be tricky because am I being kind of a saccharine TV sitcom mom? Like, sure, this is how I envision I would speak to my child, but I don't have a child. Is that truly how you'd speak? Or what if you're really flustered after a day? Parents can get mad at their kids too, or get annoyed with them. They're never, you don't want to sound mean, but there's just an element there that you may not ever know unless you have kids. Yeah. So trying to find those things, trying to find a life experience to draw on that's close to that can be tricky. So come here, Jamie. Come lay in my lap.
Jamie. Hey. Hey, you.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, you.
We need to use you right now for some.
Jamie.
From some motivation. What's my motivation?
What are you doing? Whoa! Eat it, Jamie. It's a bug.
Oh, well, Kaitlyn, I want to. Oh.
Okay, I'm going away from that.
Get some crazy, creepy bug in there.
Well, it's just a fly, but he's like slapping it around, so it's not flying anymore, but it's like struggling and like out of its misery. But he's just like, back. If I don't see it, it's not happening.
Blinders. Look away. Look at the screen.
Well, he's having an adventure.
Kaitlyn, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I know we're at time, but this was lovely. It was so
fast.
I know, over an hour.
Hi, Yuki. Yuki follows me on Twitter. Hi.
Hi. So thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been great and super enlightening. And congratulations on all your success and congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to do the voice for us one last time before you go?
Oh, of course I will. It's one of the most favorite things to do. Oh, Jamie! Oh, please get the fly, Jamie. I'm scared. Mickey, help! Oh, it's crawling on the couch.
Hold on, I'm just gonna do it.
Do it.
Yes! Jamie, your feast is ready.
Enjoy, Jamie. Enjoy. Oh.
But
Well,
if
I have-
anyone else has questions, you can write to me on Twitter or Instagram. I check them each day, so. But I'm always happy to answer any types of questions. So I'm not sure if there's any others in this beautiful text chat.
And make sure you're following Kaitlyn, you guys. And we do this every week. Wednesdays, usually 6 p.m., occasionally 7 p.m. So tune in, and we have some really great guests coming up. We have Christy Reed is going to be up in a few weeks.
Yay!
Yay! Have you worked with Christy?
I have.
Yeah.
Christina V, right?
Christy Reed. Christina V.
Christy Reed. Actually, yeah, Christy Reed is my vocal director on two shows. I can't say them yet because they're still in production.
Awesome.
But she worked with me for a Netflix show, and she's working with me for a Nickelodeon show. And she's fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. She's got her hand on the button on a lot of today's cartoons. So she's
really like her taste.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, tune in next week. And thank you, Kaitlyn. And when you're up in Burbank, we'll have to grab lunch soon.
Yes, please.
Okay, darling. Well, see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Say
you.
bye, Jamie. Say bye, Jamie. Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow.